All right, so today we're going deep on Jeff Bezos.
Bezos. Yeah.
The guy behind Amazon, obviously.
Yeah.
But also Blue Origin,
Yeah.
the Washington Post.
Yeah, he's got his hands in a lot of different things these days.
A lot of different things, yeah. So we're going beyond the headlines today, going in deep, using just his Wikipedia entry.
Oh, wow.
As our starting point. And
interesting.
you would be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Okay.
It's in there.
Yeah.
So let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
Bezos, born in Albuquerque.
You're right.
Raised in Houston and Miami.
Okay.
Valedictorian in high school. National Merit Scholar.
So he was a smart guy from the start, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah. Even as a kid, it seems like he was on this like rocket ride to success.
Well, and speaking of rockets.
Oh, yeah.
His fascination with space goes way back.
Uh-huh.
As a teenager, he was already dreaming of colonizing space.
Really?
Yeah, he even led a student group
Wow.
at Princeton focused on space exploration. Seems like a pretty clear indicator of where his ambition was pointed, you know?
That's really interesting. And it makes you wonder, too, about if those early passions shaped his regret minimization framework.
Oh, that's a great point.
Right.
Yeah. For those unfamiliar, that framework is essentially about making choices that minimize future regrets.
Right.
So instead of wondering, what if, he just takes the leap, even if it's risky, like leaving Wall Street to start Amazon in a garage.
Totally, yeah. And those early investors who were warned of a 70% chance of failure.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that's a lot of faith.
To have that kind of conviction.
It speaks to a really unwavering belief in his vision.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just blind faith, though. I mean, his background in electrical engineering and computer science at Princeton, and then honing his analytical skills in finance at Fattel, Bankers Trust, and then D.E. Shaw.
So that's where that finance background comes in.
Yeah, that combination of tech savvy and financial acumen. Yeah, gave him a unique edge, I think.
Totally. And so 1994 rolls around.
Yeah.
Bezos takes the plunge, launches Amazon from his rented garage.
Yep.
It started as an online bookstore, right?
It did start as an online bookstore.
Okay.
But even then, the ambition was there. This was the very early days of the internet.
Right.
Bezos saw the potential of e-commerce before most people even knew what that was.
Right.
It wasn't just building a bookstore. It was building an everything store.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And his wife at the time, Mackenzie Scott, was a crucial part of that early success.
Yeah, she was writing checks, managing finances.
Really?
Even negotiating those first freight contracts.
Wow.
Talk about a power couple.
Yeah, what a story.
Yeah.
And then there's the famous get big fast strategy.
Right. Bezos was relentless in his pursuit of growth, rapidly expanding beyond books, acquiring competitors.
Yeah, and that was a risky move, though, especially when the dot-com bubble burst.
Yeah, a lot of people thought Amazon wouldn't make it.
Right.
But that's where his ability to adapt and innovate really shines through.
Right.
You know, he recognized the need to diversify and launched Amazon Web Services.
AWS?
AWS, yeah. And this was a game changer.
I mean,
providing the cloud computing infrastructure that powers much of the internet today.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, there's the Kindle.
The Kindle, right.
Which, I mean, revolutionized the way we read.
Yeah, he wanted to create that immersive flow state experience where you're just so engrossed in the book, you lose track of time.
Totally.
He understood that technology wasn't just about gadgets. It was about enhancing human experiences.
Totally.
And the Kindle, I think, was a perfect example of that vision.
But as Amazon grew, Bezos wasn't content to stay in that e-commerce lane.
Right.
That childhood dream of space travel was still burning bright.
Yeah.
And that's where Blue Origin comes in.
Exactly. With Blue Origin, he's aiming for nothing less than making space travel accessible to ordinary people.
Wow.
And the New Shepard vehicle successfully reached space and landed back on Earth.
Oh, wow. So that's a major step toward that goal.
A major step.
And let's not forget the fact that he personally flew to space on New Shepard in 2021.
I mean, talk about living the dream.
Yeah.
It was a powerful statement showing his commitment to pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Right. But space exploration isn't his only venture outside of Amazon.
No, not even close.
He acquired the Washington Post in 2013.
Yeah.
Becoming a media mogul. practically overnight.
Yeah, that raised some eyebrows for sure.
I bet some saw it as a way to wield influence.
Right.
Others as a genuine attempt to support quality journalism.
Yeah.
In a rapidly changing media landscape.
It's a complex issue with no easy answers.
Yeah. And then there's Bezos Expeditions.
Oh, yeah. His venture capital firm.
Which is invested in a mind-boggling array of companies and technologies.
It's everything from Google to life extension research.
Wow.
Bezos seems determined to shape the future in more ways than one.
Yeah, and one of the more recent and fascinating ventures is Altos Labs.
Altos Labs, yeah.
Co-founded with Yuri Milner.
That's right.
Which is focused on cellular reprogramming and the potential for extending human lifespan.
It's almost like science fiction becoming reality.
Right.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
And delve into Bezos' leadership style.
All right.
He's known for his day one philosophy.
Yeah.
Which emphasizes operating with the same urgency and entrepreneurial spirit, as if it were the first day of a startup.
Yeah, so like always be on your toes.
Right.
Like that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like he's constantly pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
But how does that translate to
the
day-to-day running of a company?
Well, Bezos is a big believer in data-driven decision-making. And he also promotes what he calls work-life harmony.
Not balance.
Not balance, right?
Harmony.
And then there's that famous 2-pizza rule for meetings.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where if you can't feed everyone with 2 pizzas, the group is too big to be effective.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, his annual shareholder letters offer like a really interesting window into his thinking.
Totally.
You know, he's always emphasizing customer obsession and the importance of taking risks.
They're almost like these mini business manifestos.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, just packed with insights and lessons learned.
But while Bezos has been lauded for his innovative thinking and business acumen, he's also faced his fair share of criticism.
Of course.
Right. I mean, there have been allegations of harsh working conditions in Amazon warehouses.
Yeah.
And the International Trade Union Confederation even labeled him the world's worst boss.
At one point, yeah. And as Amazon has grown in size and influence, so too have the concerns about its impact on small businesses and competition. You know, some argue that Bezos's relentless pursuit of growth has come at the expense of fair labor practices and a healthy marketplace.
It's interesting how his public image has evolved over the years. You know, he's gone from like the geeky founder in a garage to this most larger-than-life figure.
Yeah.
Even like physically transforming himself.
There's almost a parallel between Amazon's growth and dominance and Bezos's own personal transformation.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like he's embodying the company's ambition and power.
That's fascinating. And that brings us to his wealth.
Yeah.
In 2018, he became the world's first centibillionaire.
A centibillionaire.
Surpassing Bill Gates.
Wow.
That kind of wealth inevitably attracts attention.
Sure does.
Particularly when it comes to philanthropy.
Right. Early on, Bezos faced criticism for what was perceived as relatively low levels of giving. Yeah. Compared to other billionaires, he was often contrasted with someone like Bill Gates, who had already established the Gates Foundation.
Right.
And was making significant philanthropic investments.
But more recently, Bezos has stepped up his game.
He has, yeah.
With initiatives like the Bezos Earth Fund, which is a $10 billion commitment to fighting climate change.
That's a lot of money.
He's also launched programs focused on homelessness and early childhood education.
Those are significant investments for sure. But
his philanthropic efforts haven't escaped controversy either.
No, they haven't. I mean, for instance, his relationship with the Washington Post has been scrutinized with some questioning, you know, whether his ownership could influence the paper's coverage.
Yeah. And let's not forget that Saudi hacking claim.
Oh, right.
Where his security consultant accused the Saudi government of hacking Bezos's phone.
That sounds like a spy thriller.
Doesn't it? It does, yeah.
The alleged motive was retaliation for the Washington Post's coverage of Jamal Khashoggi's murder.
Wow.
Which adds another layer of complexity to Bezos's world.
Yeah.
So where does this leave us? We've covered a lot of ground.
We have, yeah.
From humble beginnings to space travel.
Yeah.
From e-commerce dominance to media ownership.
To philanthropy and everything in between.
What stands out to you as we reflect on his journey?
I think what strikes me is the sheer ambition of the man.
Yeah.
He's not just building businesses.
Right.
He's trying to shape the future.
Yeah.
Whether it's colonizing space, extending human lifespan, or tackling climate change. I mean,
it's amazing.
The scope of his vision is extraordinary.
Yeah, he definitely seems to operate on a different level.
He does, yeah.
Than most people.
For sure.
But is it all driven by a genuine desire to make the world a better place?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah. Or is there a more self-serving motive at play?
Right.
It's hard to say for sure.
Right.
You know?
And that's the thing with someone like Bezos.
Yeah.
There's always this element of mystery.
Yeah.
This sense that we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, it's like he's playing this long game that most of us can't even comprehend.
Right.
But, his actions have real-world consequences.
Oh, for sure.
Both positive and negative.
Absolutely.
And it's important to acknowledge that.
Yeah, and that brings us to something I think for you to ponder.
Okay.
Bezos's vision of space colonization. Is it a genuine effort to ensure the survival of humanity?
Right.
Is it a billionaire's escape plan?
Wow.
Or maybe something in between?
Yeah.
What does it mean for one person to wield this much power and wealth?
Yeah.
And what kind of future is he shaping for all of us?
Those are great questions.
Big questions.
Big questions, yeah. I think this deep dive has given us a much more nuanced view.
I think so, too.
Of Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Beyond the simple headlines and sound bites.
Well, he's a complex figure.
He is.
And his story is still unfolding.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt he's had a profound impact on the world.
Yeah.
And it'll be fascinating to see what he does next.
It will. And we encourage you to keep exploring.
Yeah.
To keep asking questions.
And learning.
And form your own conclusions.
Exactly.
About Jeff Bezos and the legacy he's building.
It's a fascinating story.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, this was fun.